Let me tell you a story, but not the one you were taught in school. Because while the West is busy daydreaming about saving Africa with dusty aid brochures, Africa has been running a silent heist in plain sight. And spoiler alert, the heist is legal. It's called strategy. And if you blink, you'll miss the greatest wealth transfer that is happening right now without permission. Oh, and don't get it twisted. I'm not here to sprinkle hope. I'm here to show you receipts and maybe drag you a little while at it. Because if you're broke and you're still sitting on your dreams while Africa is flipping the script, you're about to feel exposed. First of all, Africa is outgrowing the world. Africa's economy is projected at 3.9% in 2025, 4% in 2026. That is faster than most of the world, except Asia. And honestly, Asia, as we all know, doesn't sleep. Meanwhile, East Africa is out here sprinting 5.9%. Okay? Ethiopia, Rwanda, Senegal, they are clocking near 7%. 7%. That's not growth. That's cardio. Meanwhile, you're out here arguing with Safaricom about your Fuliza debt. My love, you see Africa? Africa is reducing poverty while you're trying to reduce your M-Pesa or Fuliza limit. Feel triggered? Good. Stay with me. The problem is this. The West still thinks that Africa is sitting outside the club, as usual, or like in the olden days, begging for entry. Reality check. Africa now owns a share of the damn club. Permanent seats in the G2O, BRICS membership. And do you know what that means? It means we are not waiting for aid budgets anymore. We are out here shopping for new partners like it's Black Friday. Here, China brings the highways, Russia brings weapons, Turkey brings schools and kebabs, Gulf states bring $53 billion in investments, and the West, all they bring are opinion. Okay? Cute. Question is, in your personal finance, are you still waiting for Western aid, aka loans from relatives, or having side hustles with no structure, waiting for your boss to increase your salary? Or are you bricks in your way into diversified income streams? My dear, pick a side. That's the geopolitical brand. You know, Africa is finally done explaining why the lights keep going out. 6.5 GW of power added in 2024. Power poles connecting borders. Zambia, in the other hand, building solar parks, while your neighbor can't even pay Kenya Power on time. And don't get me started on transport. Corridors like Lobito are unlocking mineral supply chains. Subsea cables are literally wiring Africa into the digital bloodstream of the world. From blackouts to big bangs. Translation: Africa is building while you're out there scrolling TikTok, looking for a side hustle that you can do with no capital. Are you serious? Darling, capital is everywhere. You just don't trust yourself enough to move. Okay? That's your problem. So we are on point when it comes to infrastructure and energy. Let's talk about the part the West doesn't really like about Africa. And this is that Africa is now financing itself with $1.1 trillion sitting in domestic pension funds, $100 billion in remittance for last year. That's 8 times more than US aid, right? And the real gag, tax reforms. Of late, Nigeria boosted revenue 20% just by going digital. Rwanda, on the other hand, 15%. Meanwhile, you're out here trying to dodge KRA like they're an ex. See yourself. But this is what I mean. If Africa can mobilize $1.43 trillion by just tightening tax systems, what's your excuse for not mobilizing your own income streams? Or you're still out here blaming the economy? The economy is literally inventing money while you're busy inventing excuses. Africa stopped begging. As an individual, you should too. Now, let me introduce the main character, AfCFTA. This isn't just a trade deal. It's Africa's infinity stone. You see, by 2035, it's set to boost intra-African trade by 52%, create $450 billion in income, and 30 million jobs. Basically, a continental group project, but one where everyone or everybody actually shows up. This is the trade plot twist. You can't even get your friends to show up at your Chama meeting, but 54 African countries signed up for this. Come on, be serious. Let's talk about tech and innovations. This is the leapfrog flex. AI, fintech. You see, Africa didn't just join the digital revolution. We skipped the queue, okay? Fintech apps scaling faster than your TikTok drafts. E-commerce in South Africa breaking 100 billion rands by 2026. Rural areas plugged in through digital IDs and mobile payments. So, in real sense, Africa is leapfrogging while you're still buffering. What of industrialization? No more raw deals. Because we've been exporting raw cocoa for centuries and exporting back extremely expensive Swiss chocolate. Not anymore. Africa is investing in steel, fertilizers, refineries, and, listen carefully, critical minerals. We hold 30% of global reserves. So, that's to say, by 2030, Africa could grab over 10% of the $16 trillion green mineral market. Let me translate that for you. We are finally saying, pay us properly or leave our lithium alone. Okay? With all that being said, there's always cracks in every story. Yes. Something like debt distresses in over 21 countries, climate vulnerability, Sahel fragmentation. But here's the twist. Every weakness is turning into leverage, one way or another. For instance, Zambia and Ghana reconstructing debt with China instead of begging the IMF. Sahel states forming their own alliances. So Africa is saying, we don't need your seat. We are building a new table. Where there's challenges, there's opportunities. And this time round, we choose as Africa to look and focus on opportunities. So, let me land this plane. The West still sees Africa as a charity case. But in reality, Africa is running the biggest wealth heist in our lifetime. Not with guns, but with governance, with trade, with tech, and most especially with audacity. And if you're watching this thinking, wow, Africa is really moving, just pause. Ask yourself, are you moving too? Or will you still be begging for aid while the whole continent of Africa is gushing out? The decision is entirely up to you. Because here's the truth. Nothing in this life that is good comes easy. Neither does it come for free. Not for Africa, and not for you. And if you want to flip your finances from broke to untouchable, start with my chaos-proof monthly system, linked below. Or you can just sit there and keep scrolling. Your choice. Africa is no longer waiting for permission, and neither should you. I'm Miss Muithathi, and I'll see you in my next video.